Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is here live, ranking member of the Senate Budget Committee, and he also serves on Appropriations, Judiciary. Very busy man. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Elon Musk continues to be kind of the bastion of free speech on the planet. He gave it to Ukraine. He puts satellites up. He does it all.
Yeah.
But we don't need flashlights and things and satellites and things and brilliant people, apparently, to help us see what we all can see with Dr. Fauci in particular. Just tell us what you knew when you knew it.
Well, so the bottom line, we have a process in place now because we took back the House. We can never get a speaker elected on the Republican side to do hearings and ask questions. Okay, let's look at the idea transferred from nature that somebody ate a bat in a wet market versus a leak from the lab. I'm pretty convinced it came out of a lab leak, but we have now a process with Republicans in control to find out what happened, to test Fauci's prior statements, to see if in fact we did fund gain of function research. So there you go.
What are the repercussions? What's the, we talk about that word accountability on Capitol Hill, but this would mean that people died.
Yeah.
So what's the payback for that? Because he says he's not going away. He's going to continue on his Here I Am Best of Fauci tour.
Yeah, I don't see him getting prosecuted, but I do see understanding what happened, maybe some people getting fired because they missed the obvious. This Twitter stuff, Google, this is as big a story as how COVID started, because what they've done at Twitter and other social media outlets is suppress the other side of the story. Every time a scientist would come forward to suggest maybe it came out of the lab, or that we're not following the science, that we're overdoing it, that we're going too far, they were shut down. So the real story for me is that the social media companies that exist today, Google, Twitter, all of these,
Facebook,
they're unregulated and you can't sue them. They're the largest companies in the history of the world, and a consumer has no recourse. We need to fix that.
And is that in part because of Section 230?
Yes.
So that's been talked about. So will Republicans finally do something with that? And do you think you can get it through in the Senate?
Okay, suing Twitter. If somebody says something bad about me and they use Twitter, I can sue Twitter if it's a lie. Suppressing information about my campaign, not putting my ads, putting them in, in the dumpster, I can bring lawsuits. But the more important thing to me is a regulatory commission. We have you have to have a license to sell real estate, to open up a TV station, to run a radio station. These companies should have a license that can be taken away.
So that's so interesting hearing that from a Republican, because usually you want less government, but you say in this instance, what is the exception?
Okay, here's the deal. To get a license, you have to have privacy protection. A license requirement would be that if you take my content down, I can appeal your decision as a social media company to somebody outside the company. Because I'm a consumer. Young girls are being driven to websites just to make money. There's a mental health abuse here by these algorithms. The social media companies are doing a lot of damage to young teenage girls, and we need a licensing requirement to prevent that and to empower parents.
Wow, you're very passionate about this.
Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest issue facing America.
As somebody who's in the media and obviously with children, I watch this every day, and I appreciate the fact that you're looking at it not just from the perspective of those consenting adults who are on that platform, but kids are, they're drawn to it like manna. It's all we talk about, it's fashions driven by it, so on and so forth. And parenting can only go so far when you have teenagers. You're not the only voice they hear.
Yeah, eyeballs equals money. The more eyeballs they can get on these sites, the more money they make. That needs to be regulated.
The Democrats held on to their narrow Senate majority, but it's not really sunshine and roses at this point. Fellow independent Senator Bernie Sanders let it rip over Kyrsten Sinema's defection from the Democratic Party. His choice words for her and for her 2024 re-election bid.
Democrat who has, in fact, along with Senator Manchin, sabotaged enormously important legislation. I support progressive candidates all over this country, people who have the guts to take on powerful special interests. I don't know what's going to be happening in Arizona. We'll see who they nominate, but certainly that's something I will take a hard look at.
All right, real quickly, your response, and then I'll move to this.
Well, the left has declared war on Sinema, and she has basically come up with a new model. The reason she's running as an independent is because people like Bernie Sanders are trying to drive her out of the party for being kind of a moderate person. there's less space for moderation in the Democratic Party than any time since I've been in politics.
Is it genuine, do you think, to assume that any of these independents would vote with Republicans? Now, with Sinema in 2015, she was voting in line with what would be Trump policies about 50 to 60% of the time. So maybe with her. But what about Manchin? I mean, these are people you know.
Well, Joe Manchin's been a Democrat all his life. He saved the Senate by, not joining in to abolish the filibuster. But, Joe has voted for about every spending bill they've had. Sinema has been good on protecting the Senate as an institution, but she votes with Democrats most of the time on their priorities. So we have a shot in Arizona we did not have before, a three-way contest. I don't know who that benefits, but I like Sinema. And the reason she's doing this, the Bernie Sanderses and the AOC of the world are literally driving people into the ground who will not follow their far left policies. And if we do that as Republicans, we're going to have the same result. So it's a wake-up call for the Republican Party. Don't follow Bernie's lead.
Next time up, Democrats will have 23 seats to
Right.
defend. Real quickly, what does that look like?
I think we're going to win Ohio. It's a red state now. West Virginia, just about anybody could win as a Republican. Then you got Montana, that the Republican nominee will win by 15 or 20 points, and Arizona's in play. So a Republican majority in 2024 is there for the taking.
All right. Senator, great to talk with you
Thank
today.
you.
We hit a lot of topics, and it
Yes,
was
we
really
did.
good to pick your brain about what you think is possible on Capitol Hill with these social media companies.
Thanks.
Good to see you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.